Today in the crypto space, we see a lot of green price action to the upside. Bitcoin right around that $72,800 mark, up approximately 4.5%, give or take. And Ethereum right around that $4,000 level, still climbing up about 2.5%. The rest of the crypto space, the altcoins are pretty much in the green. We have BNB doing really good, Toncoin, Sol, and many others. In today's video, I want to talk about the general market. I want to use Bitcoin as a leading indicator, but more importantly, I want to talk about one altcoin that is definitely looking for a setup for a breakout to the upside, and that project is called Band. So you know what? Let's talk about the news, let's analyze the charts, and let's strategize to capitalize. Welcome to the channel. My name is Mike, and let's get right into it, guys. If you're new to the channel, welcome. On the channel, we talk about cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and all the altcoins, looking for opportunities. Whether we go up or down, bearish or bullish, it doesn't matter. All we want to do is stay one step ahead of the market so that we can capitalize on any of the volatility. And if you appreciate the strategy, subscribe to the channel, click the bell so you don't miss out on any of my future videos, including the live streams at 7:30 Eastern, where we talk about crypto news and price action. Guys, if you have any projects you want me to cover here on the channel, feel free to let me know in the comment section below. You can hit me up on the socials. The links are in the description. Better yet, guys, join the Discord. The Discord is where it's at. Lots of good alpha, trade setups, fundamentals, and learning material. All right, guys, let's begin. Let's see what's going on here in this market. The market is still looking green, led by Bitcoin to the upside, 73K for Bitcoin, still making those higher highs and higher lows. Yes, the market is really hot. Yes, it's very overbought and overextended. However, guys, we could stay in this state for a good amount of time and continue to the upside, a slow grind to the upside. But the thing is, there's a lot of individuals thinking that maybe this is the top. However, guys, there's no real confirmations just yet. There's no structural difference or change in the current structure of Bitcoin, Ethereum, and many other altcoins are still pumping to the upside. Look at BNB, Solana looking good. And if we keep on going down, you can see the structure is still intact for a lot of these altcoins. Either they're still going sideways within range, which, you know, structure is still intact. Fine. Look at Cardano, still looking okay. Maybe waiting and gearing up for an expansion move to the upside. AVAX got its move to the upside. It's up 34% in the last 7 days, 3% for today. A little bit of a pullback in the short term, not a big deal, but AVAX is a runner, and AVAX has been running. We have Sheep going sideways, and we have Polkadot doing okay. We have Toncoin waking up today, guys. I believe Toncoin is the man of the match for today, doing pretty good, 24% to the upside, 64% in 7 days. Bullish, bullish, bullish. Good on you if you got in at the bottom of the range while Ton was going sideways. We have Polkadot waking up here. All the layer 2s should be waking up based on the Ethereum upgrade. You know, these are good times for Ethereum, given that now gas fees are reduced, and the layer 2s, in fact, gas fees are pretty much gone. Like, they're very, very minimal, almost negligible. Okay, so this is a really good time for Ethereum based projects. Polygon looking great. The layer 2s right now should be doing good. Near Protocol, another great gainer in the last little while. Guys, Near Protocol has taken off. Now is not the time to take risk. Yes, big picture, Near Protocol has a bright future. But in the short term, guys, we've seen that Near Protocol has been running significantly, and a nice little level of support, a flag of some sort, so that we can come up with another setup would be the ideal time to start skilling in. Right now, guys, the volatility can be your worst enemy. So, you know, take care of that risk management. What else do we got here? We got ICP kind of ranging out here for the next little while. Filecoin doing the same thing, maybe gearing up for another leg to the upside. We have Cosmos going sideways. So a lot of price action still going sideways, and Optimism is not doing so well. Guys, I expected Optimism to do well, Arbitrum to do well, all the layer 2s to do well, but they're not doing as great as I expected. So let's see, maybe it's a buy the rumor, sell the news event type of scenario, and Optimism is just taking a bit of a pullback. Yes, it is up 5.2% in the last 24 hours, but if you see the structure of the price action, it definitely is in a retracement. Now, do we finally break out of this retracement and get another leg up, guys? It's possible. Guys, tonight at 7:30 Eastern, I'm going to be going live, and of course I'll be taking your requests. If you want me to take a look at Optimism and see what could be happening in the immediate short term, feel free to join and make those requests. Let's see what's going on here with the H bar. Double top-ish. It did really move earlier on. It did really great. If you think about where H bar came from, it was a creeper, slow and steady, grinding to the upside without much hype. And then all of a sudden we look back and it pretty much did very, very well. BitTensor in the last little while kind of going quiet. You know, it's totally fine. BitTensor has been one of the major gainers in this rally. So what else do we expect? A bit of a break is totally fine. And then we have, again, a lot of these coins, a lot of these projects are still grinding to the upside. Given that the short-term price action, as you can see, is either still upward sloping or at least going sideways, you know, holding and waiting for its turn to continue the potential run to the upside. Guys, obviously, we know that Bitcoin is very frothy. In fact, we even see that Ethereum is very frothy at this level. It hasn't reached previous highs and it hasn't reached price discovery. But if we do get a pullback across the board, it's because the heavyweights are pretty much doing that, pretty much coming down, both primarily Bitcoin, and then maybe even Ethereum follows suit and we get a bit of a correction. But as of now, there is no signal in this market that we are done, that it's not going to continue, that in fact, we could have an altcoin season. We finally see Algorand moving. We are up approximately 12.5%, 30% in the last 7 days. Another creeper that can slowly creep behind us. And then all of a sudden you start to see Algorand move significantly. And you can see that there's a lot of them that are doing that. If you even consider Flow bit by bit, it is moving. It's up 40% in 7 days. And if you keep on scrolling through the market, this is the general consensus. Even Quant is kind of waking up a little bit. It's up 16% in the last little while. Yep, at about $140. From the 100 stable dollar mark, $100 was a pretty much stable position for Quant. All of a sudden, it's up 40%. Good stuff for Quant. In the big picture, it's been doing okay, but really nothing in comparison to what the rest of the market has been doing. If we continue going down, like I said, guys, lots of green throughout the market, lots of rallies, lots of pumpage, lots of opportunities to still make lots of gains until we get those bearish signals where we start to see divergences at critical levels of resistance and structural changes in the price action. Guys, the trend is your friend, and we have to be looking and hunting for those bottom dwellers. All right, guys, I know you're here to talk about charts, so let's begin. Let's begin our analysis talking about Bitcoin. We're going to talk about Band in a second, but Bitcoin is where it's at the current moment. We can see that Bitcoin is holding up this market, giving us a bit of hope that we could continue to the upside. Why? Because we keep on grinding. We keep on moving higher, little by little, slow and steady. No sign of structural change here. This is what I was talking about earlier. Higher highs, and especially on the daily, guys, higher highs, higher lows, no area right now to really pinpoint as a pivot, right? There's nothing right here. Even if we get onto the 4 hour, there's not really anything. Yes, there's a bit of divergence here. You can see that based on this channel or this, this move to the upside, this nice little trend. And we see the RSI slowly coming down, but it's on the 4 hour, guys. Yes, we could get a bit of a dip and then continue. Similar to what happened in the past down here, a bit of a retracement, continue, bit of a retracement, continue. Do we get a bit of a retracement, get oversold, get a bit of a dip, and then continue to the upside and potentially hit maybe $83,800, which for me is the beginning of extension level territory, the 1.27, the 1.618 at 100,000 more or less. And that is the target pretty much at this point when we are in price discovery. There is only two things that you can really use: extension levels and nice psychological round numbers, and Bitcoin is definitely, getting to that territory. All right, guys, let's move on. Let's begin. Let's take a look at Band. Band, at the end of the day, given the fact that Bitcoin is still looking strong, we have to kind of zoom out and look big picture on a lot of the altcoins. It's becoming more and more difficult to find bottom dwellers, but there are still a few that, potentially could continue and breaking structure and to the upside and getting their next impulsive move. And I think that Band is pretty much gearing up for that. At this level, at the 4 hour, you're looking at this and you're like, wow, we made a higher high, higher lows. This looks hot. It looks like it might roll over, but we need to zoom out. Let's get right quick on the weekly. Let's start on the weekly and see what's going on here. Okay, let's zoom out. Let's position ourselves here, and we can see that momentum, RSI is looking okay. Price action is doing great. Price action at the current moment is gearing up for a nice breakout. Okay, now, of course, there's a little lack of clarity on the breakout, given the fact that we do have a few wicks and a few levels of price action right here that could act as resistance. And guess what? It definitely did. It acted as a little bit of resistance in the short term. But you can see that this general area, this nice rounded bottom, and maybe Adam and Eve, it could be classified potentially as a Adam and Eve, a nice V recovery. It's not that clear, but still not bad. The reality is the sentiment. The sentiment where we're at right now is so important. Remember, the market conditions are super bullish. A lot of these altcoins are breaking out, very similar to what we can see right now here on Band. But the question is, what is Band? Number one, it is a secure, scalable, blockchain agnostic, decentralized oracle. So an oracle is a hot narrative nowadays. We see Pith doing well. We see obviously Chainlink, one of the OGs in the space, in the oracle space. So definitely looking good. Obviously, guys, I suggest you guys do deep dives on this project, but it's very interesting. Market cap wise, it is a smaller market cap. It's I think about $300 million market cap. So it should do well in the up and coming bull run. We should see a bit of price action to the upside, given that there's a bit of room for growth. Now, what do we expect in the short term? I know we're looking at the weekly, but the weekly is a good area to kind of identify weak spots in this chart. You can see that right above the $2.35 mark, there's not much resistance. We can basically get to $5 very easily. And how we can confirm that is, number one, the price action. There's a lot of empty space right into here. Yes, we got a bit of volatility right into there, but this is a low volume volatility. Confirm that with the volume histogram bars down here. You can see it's very low volume. And if you look at the volume profile from, again, $2.35, $2.30, pretty much all the way up to about $5, there is very little volume here on the volume profile, which suggests there's very little resistance. Now, in the short term, we did get a bit of a hit. Now, this hit right here is caused by this little hump right here in the volume, and that little hump is probably caused by this volatility right here. And of course, getting the volatility where we are currently at the moment does increase the significance of this volume right here on the volume profile at about $2.70. However, I think that a short-term pullback, if it does happen, is going to be a short-term thing. And ultimately, what this price action is suggesting is a breakout. Guys, let's get into lower time frames. Let's look at the daily, because you can see that, the weekly is not really that significantly overbought yet. We didn't get into the extreme zones of overbought conditions just yet, and we are still trending to the upside, while the MACD EMAs are beautifully crossed to the upside, and the green histogram bars are definitely there, trying to get into this bullish control zone with a lot of aggression. So very interesting here with regards to trend strength shift and momentum to the upside. Okay, let's get onto the daily. Let's see if we can repeat some of this bullishness that we got here. And again, the price action on lower time frames does highlight the extendedness of this price. You can see that we've been overbought for a little bit here, guys, but this is not the only project that's doing that. A lot of the crypto space at the current level is overextended, overbought, and so on and so forth. But the question is, do we continue? Do we continue staying in this level, giving the other altcoins that have yet to run, like Band, the opportunity to actually break above resistance? So right as we speak, you can see that this is clearly a breakout trade. Here on the channel, I am not so much a breakout trader. I like finding bottoms. I buy bottoms. I DCA dollar cost average at horizontal supports at bottom levels as best as I can. That's my overall strategy. Obviously, I implement a few little details in my strategy. Join me live tonight at 7:30 Eastern. We can kind of zone in on some of those techniques that I use. But ultimately, right now, this is not a buy the dip opportunity. In fact, this is an opportunity where you're going to probably see a breakout based on previous price action tops. Okay, this is where you're buying at the current moment. So if you're looking for an entry, just understand you're buying the top, and that's the reality. You got tops all throughout here. You got a bunch of tops, and it's all confirmed by the volume profile. A lot of market participation in this zone between $2.32 to about $1. You got a lot of price action here, a lot of accumulation. You even got the point of control in here. You got the 200 daily that it got a nice bounce off of, and you can see that we basically bounced and springed right off of it into resistance. Now, do we actually break out of this resistance? Guys, if we break out of the resistance again, let's start looking at what the target is. $5, empty space. That's all I gotta say is empty space. The RSI, even on the daily, didn't get in extreme zones. So you can see that it has gotten in extreme zones in the past. Is it possible that we get a little bit higher after a few peaks, and then all of a sudden a massive run? A nice strong move to the upside to get these altcoins breaking out of their resistance zones. And the MACD right now, a little bit indecisive where we are currently, but you can see the trend. The trend is that we went sideways for a bit, and we're slowly getting comfortable, higher highs, and getting into the bullish control zone, which means that the strength of the trend at the current level on the daily, this time frame is slowly getting into the bullish control zone. It's favoring the bullish trend. So that means the strength of this trend is slowly picking up over time to the point that eventually we will break out. It's very likely that that happens. Now, if we get rejected, guys, understand that you're still within some sort of consolidation channel. You can see that based on the volume profile right here. And if we do come down, the next level of support, unfortunately, is going to be a bit lower. We're looking at the point of control. We're looking at potentially 200 daily EMA. The orange line there could definitely act as support. We have a few little bottoms here, but look at the volume profile, guys. No real indication of strength. I would say that if we come down to the 200 daily EMA or to the point of control, that would be a good opportunity to DCA, because we have gotten some respect on that TA, on those horizontals before. Bottoms, and then, you know, the 200 daily, you know, was respected off this bounce in that spring. So not a bad idea. Just keep in mind that as we progress through this rally, a lot of these altcoins have already taken off. They've already met some really good price targets already. What we're trying to do is identify bottom dwellers. Why? Because if Bitcoin, again, back to Bitcoin and Ethereum, if Bitcoin reclaims dominance and starts running, it could be that we see the altcoins take the back burner. And that's when we see a bit of a retracement in the altcoin market. But what about if Bitcoin does roll over and starts coming down after a big rejection? Expect that band will also come down. This is the reality. So where are you going to put your stop loss? The safest stop loss is all the way here below the $1 mark, below the previous low. But look what kind of dip you're going to have to endure. This is the problem with breakout trading, right? So I'm spelling out the risk to you guys so you can make an informed decision. At the end of the day, buying at the current levels and putting your stop loss all the way at the bottoms, you're looking at a 62% dip. Guys, that is significant. And yes, you could put a stop loss right underneath this low. That is very possible. A stop loss right underneath this low is not a bad idea. Why? You got lots of confluence. This low, you got the 200 daily, you got the point of control right there, which is pretty cool, right? Let's do a measurement from the current entry to putting a stop loss right around here. Let's give it a bit of wiggle room. It's still 46%, guys. So this is what we're talking about here when you're talking about smaller cap project, you know, $300 million market cap or so. I think it's about 350. But at the end of the day, this is the issue that you're dealing with. The risk is very, very hard to mitigate here in a breakout trade. Now, the only way you could really do it is let this thing run and wait for a back test. But what we've been seeing lately in this market is that a lot of these projects, a lot of the price action is not coming down for a back test. Why? The market is too bullish. There's too much liquidity. There's too many individuals with tons of profit. There's so much conviction up there. So the reality is, if we can get in with a bottom level type of scenario, let this thing run, trail up a stop loss and put it at break even, guys, it's not a bad idea to consider calculated risk. Again, 60% dip, 45% dip, with the potential to fly through this volume gap and potentially get in and make a, let's say, a 90% move is not a bad idea, but the risk to reward ratio is definitely hurting. So let's kind of look at this in a little bit. Let's kind of look at this setup on how we could kind of mitigate risk and make this a lot more clear, especially if you're new to this space. I just want to stress how important it is that we focus on risk management. Let's say we enter currently. You can see that we're breaking through little by little. It's going to take its time until we actually break maybe that $3 mark. It'll start to crank, and then it's for sure it's too late. But if we do get a pullback, the reality is dollar cost average is probably the best scenario at this level. Okay, why? Because let's say we do come down for a bit of a retracement and we come down to about $1.75 more or less. Okay, average right around here. Remember, we identified a lot of good confluence right around here for a DCA opportunity. If you get in right now, your risk to reward is not the greatest. Let's improve this. Let's bring it down to our target, which is at about $5. You can see the risk to reward is not the greatest, right? We're looking at, you know, not even a 2-to-1 ratio. That's the reality. That's not good. You're looking at maybe a 50-50 shot almost here, guys. We really want to improve that entry. But the importance behind this entry is that if we can come down for a bit of a rejection, a bit of a dip, and scale right back into this level, 200 daily EMA, we got the volume. Remember, a lot of cluster of supply and demand right in here. We can drastically improve our risk to reward ratio to about, 3-to-1 more or less. Now, what I really want to make you understand additional to this is that if we start zooming out and we start looking at higher targets, this could just be the beginning of a continuation to the upside. Remember, I'm looking at the best risk to reward. The risk right now of holding above $5 is that we get rejected on all these bottoms. And you can see the volume profile, especially once we reach at about $6 right around here, it does increase the volume. The amount of resistance there, it definitely increases. However, it doesn't mean that we can't get an exaggerated attempt to actually keep on going higher. So at this level of $5, you could definitely trail up a stop loss. Okay, trail up a stop loss, put yourself in some good profit. At $5, you can take 10% off the top, more or less. And then what you could do is ultimately continue letting it run to see where it goes. And of course, based on what the market has been doing, and if you use Ethereum as a benchmark as to where the market could go, you know, getting up to a $12 more or less is not, you know, absurd target if you think about it. Ethereum is almost reaching all-time highs. Pretty much Bitcoin is at pretty much in price discovery, and we have a lot of other altcoins that have already exploded and are doing very well and that are already around this zone, you know, percentage-wise, getting up to these levels where we're reaching those previous highs. So we can turn a quick move to the upside into a long-term hold and pretty much, you know, de-risk and still mitigate risk by taking a bit of profit and trailing up the stop loss and letting it continue to run to the upside. Guys, this trade right now is not a bad scenario for a breakout. Just understand that your risk to reward is definitely there and needs to be considered. And if you are bullish on the project and you're looking for another confirmation, a confirmation low, a higher low, right around $1.50 to $1.70, around here, right around here, 200 daily, right around this cluster is not a bad idea to build a position and then expect that breakout to the upside. Guys, if I've offered you any value in this video, do the channel a massive favor and slap the like button. Guys, I'm going to be live tonight at 7:30 Eastern talking about crypto news and price action. If you have any projects you want me to cover, feel free to let me know there, and of course I'll put them in top priority. Guys, join the Discord. The Discord is where it's at. Lots of good alpha, trade setups, fundamentals, and learning material. Take care, guys. Have a good one, and don't forget, buy the dip.